Hey friends, today's a very exciting day here at Creekside Nursery. We had a fantastic delivery of proven winter annuals. So you just saw a whole little backstory of the delivery. Now I will tell you, here we are at the beginning of February, and I think a lot of at least the East Coast is like this. It is cold, it is wet, it is nasty. This is not really the day that you're thinking of like spring and color, but that is what we're going to be talking about today, because behind me we have more than 100 trays of gorgeous little tiny little baby proven winter annuals. So I'm excited to share with you some of the things that we got today, because I think it's really important as a gardener to understand where your plants come from. We order all of our proven winter plants from our friends at Pleasant View Gardens in Loudon, New Hampshire. And they do an amazing job of growing these annuals for us. Lenny is our driver who brings us the plants. Y'all, he's amazing. I tell you, a good truck driver is like worth his weight in gold. He is fantastic. If you are a grower and you're like, well, how in the world do you get the Proven Winners truck to come deliver plants to you? We have figured out the secret to that, because for so many years, right, we were small and we were growing, and we took our orders in like little small increments every couple of weeks. In order to get that the Proven Winners truck from Pleasant View to come to you, you have to order at least a minimum of 100 trays of annuals, and then of course be within that delivery zone of the grower truck. So, because we did order at least 100 trays, we are in North Carolina within their grower truck delivery zone. That is how we get the Proven Winners truck to come to us. We didn't get the fancy trailer today, as Lenny said. There was he, bless his heart, he had some flat tire issues on this whole entire trip. And because of that, and our weather, and it just being so incredibly nasty, we had him deliver it to the retail portion of the greenhouse, because in order to get up to production on that 18-wheeler, it would almost guarantee that he got stuck, because we've had so much rain and we're so saturated. So he delivered them down there, and then we shuttled them up here. So Lenny is fantastic. So if you're in Lenny's delivery zone, I know that you know what I'm talking about, because he is amazing. We will see him again in 2 weeks for our other delivery. Without further ado, let's talk about some fun plants. You just saw us the other day get our hanging baskets ready. We did close to 500 hanging baskets, both the 16-inch cocoa line baskets and then the 10-inch green hanging baskets, the plastic pots. So what is going to go in that? Well, some of those that are going to go in there are the Proven Winter recipes. And we have actually 4 different recipes that we are going to use this year. We have 4, one's a double, so that makes 5. Jerry's doing me hand signals. There's 4 different recipes, but there's 5 groups of them. No?
5 recipes.
There's 5 recipes. Oh goodness. So we have, okay, Charmed Life, which is the mini vistas basically. So to give you an idea, of course these are all like baby plants, and so they're not flowering right now. But let me show you what it looks like when it comes to us. As a grower, we get these beautiful plants, like look at that. We'll try to zoom in on that. So this is sorry, we're trying to work here, y'all. This is a Supertunia Mini Vista Hot Pink. This is going to be a beautiful hot pink petunia. That is that Mini Vista that we love and adore. So we will take these. So in that Charm Life is the Mini Vista Hot Pink. Then we have the Sangria, the Sweet Sangria, and we have the Pink Star. So a lot of pinks in there, but you can see we have the 3 trays here on the ground. So we will take 2 of each of these plants and put them in the hanging basket. So in that 16-inch hanging basket, you're actually going to have 6 plants, 3 colors, but 6 plants. So that's why we've gone ahead and separated them, because like right now, I don't know that anybody, I mean, I'm sure there could be somebody, maybe a master grower that's done this forever, could look and go, oh, well, that's Pink Star. Oh, well, that's, you know, Mini Vista Hot Pink. When they're not blooming, I can tell you that it's a petunia, but I can't tell you which one. So we try to keep them all separate. So we have the Charm Life one. Then we have the, I'm probably gonna get this wrong, Grand Traverse has Bordeaux. Is that right? Grand Traverse. So then we have Grand Traverse, and in Grand Traverse, we have our beloved Bordeaux, which is just this lovely green tray right here. So it has Bordeaux, it has the Vista Fuchsia. So lots of beautiful colors, and then it also has the Black Cherry. So nice kind of dark, rich colors on that one that we love. This is one of our more popular ones, and that's why we started growing Black Cherry, Supertunia Black Cherry by itself, is because of this combo, and we really like it. Then next we have what would be the next one, Jerry? This is the Indigo. I'll put the names up there for you because some of these are new to us, but it has Mini Vista Indigo. It has the Violet Star, and oh, is this the Misty Seas? I think it is. I think this is Misty Seas. So Misty Seas has the Mini Vista White, Mini Vista Indigo, and then the Mini Vista Violet, which are fantastic. So the great thing about the Proven Winner recipes is that Proven Winners has trialed these plants together, so they will have like the same sunlight requirements, the same water, the same fertilizer, all those kinds of things, and they grow really well together. There's not going to be one plant that just dominates and takes over the whole container. So that's nice when we get these recipes. We don't have to try to create something on our own. Then we're going into the one with Dreamsicle, Living on the Edge. There's too many names in my head going around, so this is why we have Jerry, that he can remember all this stuff. So Living on the Edge, we've done that one for years as well. Really, really popular, and that's the one we have, two sets of. We have two sets of that. So it has the Super Bells, Dreamsicle, it has the Royal Velvet, and the Really Red Supertunia. Now you may be going, but Jenny, you just said they have the same water requirements and you've got two Supertunias and a Super Bell. I absolutely do. So in a hanging basket, even though Super Bells tend to like to be more dry, like they hate to have wet feet, and Supertunias can have more, they can handle that dampness. In a hanging basket, in a container, they will both do really, really well. I probably would stay away from putting this combo in the ground where I live because I have clay soil, and that Dreamsicle is not going to do well. So it'll kind of peter out, and then your Royal Velvet and your Supertunia Really Red would do well in that one. A new one we have this year as far as a combo that we're going to try, because typically we've always stuck with like all Supertunias or the Super Bells like that. This year we're going to do one, and this has the Supertunia Raspberry Rush, which is a gorgeous bicolor, has truly that raspberry color to it. Then our beloved Goldilocks Rocks Bidens, and you can see that it has little buds on it. We have grown all of these plants individually, but never in a container before. So it has the Goldilocks Rocks, the Raspberry Rush Supertunia, and then it has a Super Beano Whiteout. So it'll really have some really fun different textures to it, and then of course those beautiful bold colors of that
Royal Rush.
It might be, but it has that white, that yellow, and then that like raspberry color. Really super, super nice. And then we have, is this the same? Nope, this is something by, is that the Dreamsicle? Yep, the Living on the Edge. So did I get them all?
Yep.
I got them all. Trying to keep me straight. It's a full-time job around here, folks. And if you hear noise, the folks, our fellows are finishing up the ceiling in the annex. So there's a tractor going, there's air compressors, there's a heater, there's all sorts of things happening on around here. Some of my most favorite plants in the world, Coleus. And if I had three hands, I could hold all three at one time, but I don't. So here we have Wicked Witch. This is all the color blaze, right? So we have Wicked Witch with its absolutely glorious, gorgeous color. I am a massive fan of Coleus, particularly the Color Blaze series. If you do not have Coleus or have grown Coleus, I would highly encourage you to try it, because the Color Blaze, they can do sun or shade. So this is Wicked Witch. This is a relatively new one to the line, 3 years ago. Yeah. Then Newly Noir is new, is just almost a black. I mean, stunning, y'all. So again, Color Blaze can do sun or shade, and trust me, I have done it in both locations and they do glorious. They are late to bloom because you don't buy Coleus for the blooms, you get it for the foliage. You want that beautiful foliage. So they're late to bloom or bolt or however you want to call it. Nice big presence. Depending on the Coleus will depend on your mature size. But like the Wicked Witch and the Newly Noir and even Apple Brandy, I mean, they can get like 3 feet tall. Just stunning. And then Apple Brandy is relatively new, if I don't drop it, relatively new as well. Really nice chartreuse color with that reddish kind of little veining on the tips and the stems. Just brings a nice big pop of color, and especially when you pair them together, like they just play off of each other really, really well. This is just the first round. So if you're like, well, Jenny, I don't see, you know, whatever your favorite is, like Coleus, trust me, we are gonna have plenty of Coleuses. This is just the first round. Look at these little baby grasses. So much fun. So here we have, let me show you a little difference here. Get some samples going on. The Tut series, right? So we have King Tut, Baby Tut. Here is a Prince Tut grass. These are fantastic annual grasses. They love the water, so you can use them in a pond, really damp areas. So Prince Tut, and then the new Queen Tut. So that can really show you the difference. Here they are, the same size, but they're gonna have very different kind of structure and habit to them. Queen Tut is brand new this year. It is gonna be much shorter, very open. Can you see how much more open and airy it is? It will still have the traditional little tufts on the end like the Prince does. Really nice. I used this in landscapes a ton last year. Nice, fun, kind of whimsical presence. So we've got this again. This is only the first round, although the Prince Tut, this might be it because we got 4 trays of that. And we will pot them up in various different size containers. So that's another thing as a grower. When we placed our order for all of these annuals back in the fall, because that's how soon we have to plan, we have to go ahead and say, okay, well, these plants are going to go in a hanging basket, these plants are going to go in a gallon, and these are going to go in a grande. So we have to make that determination months and months before we ever plant these. So that is why when Jerry and I had these in here, of course, when you're loading them in here, you're just trying to get them in and get them out of the cold and get them into some heat. He and I then came back and sorted all of these plants. So like you'll notice over here, these are all the Super Bells and the Super Tunias, and we have them in, so if it's a row, then like these are the same plant, right? So this is Super Bells, yellow right here. We only have 1 tray of whatever color that is. So when we're looking, so we have 3 trays of the Super Tunia Picasso in purple. We had 3 trays of Super Tunia Mini Vista white, right? So we kind of separate them. So tomorrow when we are beginning to pot up, we're gonna even separate them even more and go, this whole section will go in grandes. This section is gonna go in gallons. This section is gonna go in hanging baskets, because we have learned from and just experience that you've got to be super organized and you have to know exactly where your plants are going to go. Otherwise, it could get a little hairy at times. Let's just say that. So really fun. And again, this is not meant to be like an in-depth look at each particular plant and how you're going to use it and the mature size and all that. We're just excited to show you what is happening as a grower here in North Carolina and getting plants. Fun new ones. Before I could, you know me, I could sit here and talk about, I could go through each one of these plants and tell you how beautiful they are. But we have the new Surefires. Let me make sure I get the right ones. Yes, so here we go. So the Surefire begonias, if you, again, it's like Coleus. If you've never grown Surefire begonias, you need to do it. These things are amazing. Again, sun or shade, I have done them both. Landscape or containers, I have done them both, and they are the easiest plant to grow. This year, they're introducing 2 new colors. This is the Surefire Cherry Cordial, and you can see that beautiful dark foliage, and it will have beautiful bright red flowers on it. This will get to be about, depends on if you put in the landscape, it's going to get a little bit bigger, right, than in a container. But somewhere in that, I want to say like 18, 24 inches. Beautiful. You don't have to deadhead them. Really nice. And then one of these is the Surefire White. Trying to see if this one is it. We also have the double ups. Nope, that's double up white. Anyway, one of these in here is the Surefire White, which again is like the other Surefires, but beautiful bright green foliage and white flowers. So we have got the new persimmon, Supertunia persimmon is in here. And we have the new minis. So we have the Mini Vista Scarlet. I got a frog in my throat all of a sudden. The Mini Vista Scarlet, the Mini Vista Yellow, and then the Mini Vista Midnight. They all are in here. So we got the new Mini Vista Yellow, the Mini Vista Scarlet, and the Mini Vista Midnight. Really fun colors. So if you're not close to Creekside and you are looking for these, contact your local garden center. Go ahead and do it now, because they're going to be placing their orders and looking for these plants, and they want to know what you, the customer, wants. So, you know, encourage them to try some of these new plants. But as a general rule, just remember the difference between Supertunias and Super Bells. A Supertunia is a petunia, right? A Super Bell is a Calibrachoa. Calibrachoas, all of them do great in containers and hanging baskets and window boxes, all of that, right? But the Calibrachoas don't like to have wet feet. So for us, we do not put it in the landscape. In fact, the only time I've ever heard success is like from a customer is when they live down east and they live like in pure sand and it drains really well. So that's the main difference as far as growing and the application of them. Supertunias can go in the landscape, containers, hanging baskets, all of that. Super Bells do best in containers and not in the landscape as a general rule. So just kind of keep that in mind. We are going to be potting up like crazy. In fact, Emily and Meredith are going to start this afternoon working on some hanging baskets. So they will be up here doing that. And then tomorrow we're going to be full on. We've got going to have the potting machine going again, hopefully have many hands make light work. We're going to get a lot of grandes done, some gallons. Good things are going to be happening, so that way we can get these babies growing and ready for you, our customers. So big exciting news. Of course, we'll keep you updated on how everybody's doing as they grow and develop. We'll show you everything that is as the flowers come along. So much fun. But as always, thanks so much for growing with Creekside. Y'all have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.